Hey everybody, so welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. I am Jen and I love to document my weight loss journey, my body recomp journey, while I'm also taking a GLP-1, like compounded Tirzepatide, but I started back in March of 2023. But like the past 2 weeks, I started really ramping things back up because I wanted to finally hit a goal weight and I wanted to get my body fat percentage down to around like 27%. I decided to do the 75 hard challenge and I'm having a blast right now. It's still early, but I love pushing myself. But today's video is one that I felt like I wanted to make because I keep seeing people get discouraged. And you know, it's things like you're showing up, you're putting in the work, you know, you're hitting your workouts, you're eating in a calorie deficit, you're tracking your food, and then you step on the scale and it either stays the same or it has gone up. And, you know, you put in all that effort and sometimes it feels like it's for nothing. I've been there. And in fact, this morning, this is why I want to do this video, because I got on the scale and I saw my weight was up 1.7 pounds. And I was like, I had a killer week. At first, I was like, what happened? But then I started going through and looking at other things like my body fat percentage, and it dropped 0.7%. So if I was only focused on that 1.7 pound gain, I would have missed this bigger win, and that I was actually losing fat, which is what I want. So today I want to talk about why I think we should shift our mindset and focus on fat loss and not just that sole number on the scale, especially when you're taking a GLP-1. And I mean, our bodies are going through so many changes that I feel like it doesn't always show up the right way if we just look at the pounds on the scale. And I think our obsession with the scale has to go. But I think for most of us, that number on the scale has been the ultimate marker of progress. And comment below if you've fallen into that trap while, you know, you're on your weight loss journey. Because I feel like we grew up hearing things and questions like, how much do you weigh? And it's not like, well, how healthy is your body composition? But here's the truth. The scale measures everything. Fat, muscle, water, food you just ate, hormones, inflammation. It measures it all. So when that number doesn't move the way that you want, it's easy to feel discouraged. It's easy to feel frustrated, especially when you're on a medication like a GLP-1, like Zepbound, Mounjaro, or Wegovy, Ozempic. You could be on the compounded versions of GLP-1s. And I think sometimes it's tempting to expect, you know, those fast and dramatic weight drops. But what I've learned is that it's not all weight loss is equal. It's not. Like, we actually want to lose fat, not muscle. So what is the difference? I really felt like I wanted to research this because weight loss just means the number on the scale goes down. That number could be water, could be muscle, could be fat. But fat loss means your body is shedding the stuff that actually affects your health long term. Visceral fat, the kind that, you know, surrounds your organs and drives the metabolic diseases. And I think this is why it matters, especially on a GLP-1, because these medications can really help reduce appetite dramatically. It can. And when you're not eating enough protein, or you're just not eating enough in general, and you're not doing any form of like resistance training, you will be losing muscle. And trust me, losing muscle might make that scale drop faster, but it's gonna leave you weaker, more fatigued, and just more prone really to like regain that weight back later on. And this is where things I think started to click for me a little bit. So here's my turning point. I've been using body fat percentage instead right now because I was talking to a friend the other day and I mentioned something where I was like, I actually weigh less now than I did back in high school, in college. And after my freshman year of college, you know, that dreaded freshman 20, mine was more like 25, and it hit me hard. So that summer I was like, I gotta lock in. I did running, strength training just about every day to get myself back in shape for next season because I played 2 sports in college. And I remember weighing around like 175, but I was lean. My stomach, I remember my stomach's never been flatter. But fast forward today. Yes, I know 19-year-old me and 45-year-old me now are two completely different people. But here's the thing. I weigh in the 160s now, and I'm 5'9", And yet some days I just don't feel as lean as I did back then. And why is that? Because my body fat percentage probably was so much lower back then, even at a higher weight. And I see this all the time, like with GLP-1 in like GLP-1 Facebook groups. Like people are like, I'm going to set my goal weight to what I weighed in high school. Not judging. You have every right to set to what you want. Talk to your doctor. And then all of a sudden you see comments like, well, I now weigh less than I did in high school, but I feel like I was so much thinner back then. Or, I'm wearing larger pant size, but I weigh less now. And compared to back then, it was the opposite. And I think that's the moment I realized that the scale is lying. It's like the only thing that we use to track progress, and it shouldn't be. And two people can weigh the same, be the same height, and be two completely different looks based off of fat versus muscle. And after losing over 90 pounds on a GLP-1, I started seeing this for myself. The number on the scale wasn't telling, I don't think it was just telling the full story, or I understood what really I wanted to look for. And side by sides, like visibly, you could see, like even if the scale wasn't moving, side by side visuals, like you could see the difference. And so that's why I got a new scale, so that I could track things like my body fat percentage, my lean mass, and just like other health markers. And it completely changed how I view progress and wanting to learn more. Like even if the scale didn't budge, or like the other day, like this morning, it went up slightly, I could see that I was still losing fat. And I know I'm gaining strength. And honestly, that's the kind of win I want. And I want more people to start celebrating that. And here's why now I focus on, fat loss really over just truly that number on the scale, is because losing fat, especially visceral fat, lowers your risk for diabetes, heart disease, and so much more. And then, keeping muscle while losing fat also improves your metabolism and just kind of can help you maintain your results long term. And then, the strength and confidence. Like I feel better in my body, not just because it's smaller, but because it's stronger. And this is where I think GLP-1 medications can really shine if you pair them with these intentional habits, like prioritizing protein, doing strength training, even if it's 2 times a week, 3 times a week, staying hydrated and really just getting enough sleep. This is body recomposition, and it's the real transformation I wish more people would talk more about. Now, don't get me wrong. Seeing the number on that scale drop is motivating, but letting it dictate your worth, your success, that I think can be a trap. I've been there, and I've had days where the scale didn't move, and I did let it affect me mentally. But then I'd check, the rest of my progress, like my progress photos, what's my muscle mass, or how much like heavier I'm lifting at the gym. And then I'd start to remember I'm not losing weight. I'm rebuilding my life. And it takes courage to shift your focus from quick fixes to long-term sustainable results, especially when society praises thinness over strength, or I lost 100 pounds in 3 months. But on this channel, I want to do things differently. And one more thing I want to tie into this video is that I really wish like the approval process to get started or get prescribed a GLP-1 was not tied to your BMI, which is your body mass index. Just so you know, it is a formula that takes your height and your weight, and it assigns a number to categorize you as, are you underweight? Are you normal? Are you overweight? Or are you obese? And it does look so simple on paper, but the catch is that BMI doesn't measure body fat at all. So a bodybuilder with low fat and tons of muscle might have the same BMI as somebody with high fat and no muscle. Totally different health profiles, but they have the same BMI. So while BMI is still being used in doctors' offices and researches, I think it's just really outdated, incomplete when it comes to personal health, because right now, my BMI is normal. It's in a normal range. And I've also heard some people say that their doctor won't prescribe them a GLP-1 anymore. Oh, you're in a BMI normal range. And I feel like if this happens and you know your body fat percentage, use that in a conversation to have with your doctor. Say, well, my body fat percentage is still high. I still have work to do, instead of hitting a certain weight or BMI. And if you want to know how to track body fat percentage or lean mass, all those different things, you can get the Human Health Body Pod. That's what I use. It's just kind of, I say it's way more accurate than a smart scale and can give you personalized metrics like, you know, how many calories you burn at rest. You know, it's 98% accurate compared to a DEXA scan. But once again, DEXA scans are the gold standard. Well, it's MRI and then DEXA scans. But DEXA scans are hard to access, and I think everyone should try to ask their doctor how to get this scan done at least once in your weight loss journey. And then there's the bioelectrical impedance scales like your Renpho Smart Scale. They are really good for trends. They are inconsistent, but that's the very first scale that I used. And it was the first smart scale I got was from Renpho, and it's a great scale. But then I was like, I don't want to keep paying for in-body scans. And I asked my doctor for a DEXA scan. And he's like, well, I don't think we want to prescribe one to you right now. And they're pricey. And then you can use the outdated measure like calipers or whatever. They're less precise, but they are budget friendly. It's an old school method, but not all methods are perfect. But I think even having like a rough estimate is better than relying on BMI or your weight alone. So if you're on a GLP-1 right now, and you're just trying to lose weight, please let me say this clearly. Don't let the scale be the only measure of your success. Track your body fat, strength, your habits, your confidence, track all those things. You're more than a number, and fat loss, you know, is just so much, I think, more important than just that weight loss. And it really matters to track that. And what I really want you to take away from this video is just try to stop obsessing over that number on the scale. And I know it's hard. I still do on occasion. And don't let the BMI define your health. And track your body fat percentage, your lean mass. Get yourself a good scale, a good smart scale, so that you can look at all those things and learn and try to build strength and prioritize protein, like we always say when taking a GLP-1, because your goal isn't to be lighter, it's to be leaner, healthier, and stronger. And if this resonated with you, please take a minute, hit that like button and subscribe, and just let me know in the comments below, what are you tracking? Are you just, tracking your weight? Or are you tracking any other measurements? What scale are you using? And how often do you weigh in if you want to share those things? And are you trying to ditch that scale obsession? But as I said earlier in the video, I'm still crushing my 75 hard challenge. I've never felt more in tune with my body, and I'm listening and I'm learning. And remember, you've come so far. We've all come so far. Even if you're just starting or 2+ years into this, you've got it. And as always, I will catch you later. Bye.